Thanks for inviting me today, and I've been here before and talked before with this group. I have lots of friends in the audience here. We have 220,000 people in Lewis and Clark's district. It's parts of 7 counties. It's 2,000 square miles. So if you think about Calhoun, Jersey, Greene, and Macoupin, and Madison, north of 270, Granite City sort of splits towards Swick. We have 8 locations, 2 of which are in East Alton. We have the National Great Rivers Research and Education Center, which is technically in East Alton. And then we have our contractor safety training program and our truck driver training program at the airport, which is technically in East Alton. So we are proud of the fact that we have facilities in all parts of our district and are serving over 11,000 students, academic credit students, about 17,000 total students if you count like the contractor safety students and all the people that we work with and that are involved in non-credit programs. Today, just in walking this room, talked to Mark, and he was explaining the Habitat for Humanity's program that you have going is also featuring our Illinois Construction Trades program. So some of the students that are learning the skills to get into the crafts at the Scott Bibb Center in Alton are helping with that Habitat project. They also did a wonderful project at the VFW Hall across from Roberts Ford. They need a handicap accessibility ramp, couldn't afford one. Our students built the handicap ramp in the back of that building so the veterans could get into the VFW Hall. So we do lots of projects like that all the time through some of the programs that we do. We have 43 different career programs. Talked to another one of your members today who's a relative, I forget now which relative, did 2 degrees at baccalaureate institutions and came back through us to get a technical skill in process operations technology. Now works for Sigma Aldrich and Bellencrot, I think, and makes a 6-figure salary as a process operations technologist. So we have 43 programs like that. You've heard about nursing, and our newest one this fall is in instrumentation and controls. So not only do you have to run the equipment of the refineries and the industry in our area, but you also have to maintain that equipment. So instrumentation and controls is all about maintaining the equipment. So that's our newest degree program. Also an incredibly well-paid job and lots of employment. We're looking at a vet tech program in the future here, and coloring. Those are 2, ones that are on the screen right now in terms of whether we can whether the labor market data sort of proves out that there's a long-term need for employees in those areas.
What was the second one after vet tech?
Culinary.
Culinary.
Yeah.
I heard coloring. Geez, I can do that. I just can't stand
Like Kentucky accent.
Eating. Use your hand like that.
So I haven't totally divested myself of my rural Kentucky accent, so look at that bar. I can't pronounce certain words.
Yeah.
So we have we graduate 1,000 students a year. We have an economic impact of about $369.4 million annually. That's about a 19% return to students and about a 9% return to taxpayers. 4.7% of the economic gross national product of our region, we can trace to the kind of technical skills and the jobs that people are getting coming out of Lewis and Clark. So we have a big economic footprint, when it comes to the work we do. You think about that, that's kind of, you can see how that would be the case because we started in 1970. The people in 1970 are still in their jobs for the most part. They want to stay in the area in these technical career programs. And so, if we can provide opportunity to do it well, and they'll stay here, they'll marry each other, they'll build homes, they'll buy cars, they'll do everything that, keeps them in the area. So we want to keep the intellectual, the people that we educate here so they can work here and have to leave the area to get solid employment. So I'm here today. Dick Thompson wanted me to kind of focus on one of our newest programs is in welding, and Travis Jumper is with me today. And we're going to split our time, so I'm going to kind of hurry up through this and let him have the bulk of the time. But Travis is a fantastic faculty member in the welding program. I can say that, not just as the pride of the president of the college, but I can also say it because he just won the Howard Atkins Memorial Instructor Award for District 14, which includes 5 states, as the outstanding welding instructor in a 5-state area, including all of Illinois and Missouri and Kentucky and Indiana and I believe Arkansas and Missouri. So, and he's a local boy. And Travis, as a brother, also teaches at the college, Luke Jumper, and he's the outstanding faculty member for all the faculty members in Illinois community colleges. 48 community colleges, 600,000 students, 1 faculty member, outstanding faculty member of the year, his brother, Luke Jumper. They call me Trey, and they said, "Hey Trey, man, you're a little behind on the awards, so I gotta find some kind of award to get." But some of you heard of the Fab Lab. It's an MIT designed Fab Lab, $3 million worth of equipment. It's in their Edwardsville location. Think of it as like a gym a gym membership for gearheads. And so you can go in there, you can fabricate anything, you can make garden gates for your garden, you can make guitars, you can 3D printers like the Boeing company has. I mean, it's just a fabulous place it's like a garage kind of thing, except you can put all this stuff in your garage and it's all there. All you have to do is get a membership. We have corporate memberships now. A lot of the St. Louis corporations are buying corporate memberships for all their employees. So it's just a great place. So that's our other brother there. So let me just, I'm going to embarrass Dick a little bit here because he doesn't know I'm doing this, but I'm in my office one day and Dick Weber had called me, Dick Thompson had called me, and he said, "I got a guy I want to bring in, I want you to meet. His name is Ed Weber." And so that's all I do. So he comes in, and Dick was his financial advisor. So Mr. Weber was a crusty old guy. He was in his 80s probably, Dick, at the time, and sits down at the board conference table where I work, and Dick was there with him, and he said, Mr. Weber said, "Well," says, "this guy," meaning Dick, says, "You guys help workers, is that true?" I said, "Yeah, we do. We have 40-some different career programs." He said, "Well, I want to help out the workers. I want to create something that helps out the workers for the next generation." So I said, "Well, Mr. Weber," because I'm thinking, it takes about $50,000 to do like an endowed scholarship or something, So I said, "Well, Mr. Weber, it takes like a fair amount of money to have enough to earn the interest to kind of do a scholarship." He says, "Well, hell, I was kind of thinking about a building." I forgot it's going to be aired. I forgot that. And so basically, here's a guy who lived in Hartford. He and his sister lived in a 2-bedroom house in Hartford. Dick knows this to be true. He would take her to the grocery store. He'd buy his milk. She'd buy her milk. They label it, put it in the refrigerator. She'd drink her milk. He'd drink his milk. And they never met an oil stock they didn't like, basically. So over the course of a lifetime, Mr. Weber had saved nearly $3 million. And so he did an irrevocable charitable remainder trust to the college to build a workforce building. And I'm going to pass around the picture of, so that's the building that's going up on campus right now. So I'll pass these around if you can. I think I got enough for each statement. And so it's one of these cases of where here's a guy who did a selfless act, to help generations of students to come who will be strangers to him. He won't have known. And he said, if I'd had a little more help when I was growing up and I'd gotten a little more education, I would have gone farther. I said, "Mr. Weber, what you're doing is an amazing thing. And, I can't thank you enough on behalf of all the people of this."
Where on the campus is that going to be?
It's going to be, if you go in the north side of the campus, the main entrance where the traffic light is, it's going to be just to the north side of the main drag going in. So as you take the main, it's called Elm Street. As you come in Elm Street, it's over on the right. You'll see it's
north of Trippy.
Just north of Trippy, yeah. So once in a while, the stars all line up, and it had been for Dick Thompson coming in that day, so I think we ought to give him a round of applause. Without any further ado, Travis Jumper.
So I guess I'll introduce myself first. My name is Travis Jumper. I'm from Bethalto. A little bit of background about myself. I graduated from CM Went down to SIU Carbondale, played football down there for a little while. Got my bachelor's degree in ag education. Taught agriculture up in Jacksonville, Illinois for a little while. And then I taught welding at the community college they met at my high school in Jacksonville, but it was based out of Springfield. And then from there, I went back down to Carbondale, got my master's degree in workforce education. While I was there, my master's research was on virtual reality welding simulators for training. My focus specifically was on the cost effectiveness, because those machines are about $50,000. So basically, how quickly could that machine pay itself off by saving on steel and wire and all the consumable stuff that the students would end up using. So from there, when I was finishing up my master's degree, I called every community college in the state of Illinois, and then I talked to every agriculture program at high schools. Through that conversation, I spoke with the folks at SWIC, and they indicated that Lewis and Clark was restarting their welding program on the campus. So I got a hold of my brother, who was already working at the college, and he got a hold of the dean, and then I submitted my stuff and ended up getting hired.
It's the best handout we've ever had in SWIC.
From that point, I actually got hired about 2 months before I finished grad school. And then from that April, I started the curriculum. So up to that point, we had no curriculum, no equipment, no building, anything. We had an idea, and we had some federal grants to work off of. So
we kicked maintenance out of their shed.
So as the search went on, we couldn't find a building that was going to suit. So we kicked the maintenance out of one of their maintenance sheds. It's a 60 by 70 building in the back of the campus. So that October, we started our curriculum. I had 8 students. Within 3 semesters, I had 120 in this 4,000 square foot building. So as I kept going on, we kept getting federal grants and things like that. The Chapmans are very good about finding and going after those federal grants and things. I was able to keep purchasing equipment, keep purchasing things of that nature, and then I've, at this point, pretty well jammed enough stuff into that building that I can't fit anything else. So it worked out that Mr. Weber was able to come by and get this building. So we're going from the 4,000 square foot shed to a 16,000 square foot state-of-the-art building. So it's good. The students are, every day they walk in, they look out, and when are we getting over there? When are we getting over there? So a little bit about the program in itself. We have an associate's degree, we have a certificate of proficiency, and we have 9 different certificates of completion. So there's actually 11 different ways that people can come in and go through the program. With the associate's degree, you're going to get every welding class that we offer, in addition to your English, your math, your science, your all that kind of stuff that goes along with the associates. With all the certificate programs, those are focused more towards specific industries or specific companies. So you can either focus on just stick welding, MIG welding, TIG welding, pipe, structural, it's kind of, if you already work somewhere welding, you can come in and take a certificate and get a new skill set, and then either continue on at that company or go somewhere else. So some of the courses that we offer, we have an intro class that everybody has to take, and that is your safety is the biggest thing. Then we go over how all the equipment works, all the different types of welding, all the basic background information. From there, you'll take a class in metallurgy. So you learn how, when you heat and cool metal, what does it do, why does it do what it do, and all that kind of stuff. You'll take a course in print reading, where you learn a little bit of AutoCAD so you can run a CNC cutting system of that sort. We've got a course specifically for oxy-fuel welding, which is a course that not a lot of colleges get into. We do oxyacetylene, oxypropane, air arc, plasma, and then mechanized versions of all of those. They learn to oxy-fuel weld with or without filler metal. From there, we go into 3 stick welding classes. So we use 60-10, 70-18. We start with 3/16 material and work all the way up to 3/4 inch material. Then the final exam for those 3 classes is an actual bend test, according to the American Welding Society D1.1 structural steel welding code. So that is a weld test to be a certified welder. So when they finish that course, they're, in theory, can go past the CWI or a weld test at a job. So from there, they'll take 3 classes in flux core MIG welding, so wire feed welding. And again, they'll do 3/16 all the way to 3/4, and then do bend test on those as well. And then we got 2 classes for TIG welding, 2 classes for pipe welding. So they'll learn 2, 5, and 6G. So they'll learn how to weld a round pipe, things like that. We've got a course for welding, testing, inspecting, so they not only learn how to weld, but also learn how to inspect or what the inspector is looking for. We've got a course for fab and layout. All we do is build stuff. So the whole point of that class is they're taking a blueprint and they're building off of that blueprint, and then that way they're getting the whole connection of the whole process, not just how to weld it, but how to figure out how to cut the metal, how to, you know, conserve metal so they're not wasting a bunch of stuff like that. So we've got a class for CWI prep. So if you want to become a welding inspector, we have a course to get you ready to take and pass that test. Then we have our internship, where they have to go out and work 80 hours somewhere out in the industry where they get real world hands-on work. So when I developed the program originally, I didn't develop it specifically for one industry. I developed it where the students can go wherever they want to in any industry. So we've got students that are iron workers and boiler makers and pipe fitters and all the unions, but I've also got students that are working in fabrication shops. I've got students that are building water towers and radio towers and building rail cars at GBW just up the road here. You know, I mean, they can go anywhere they want to. So I wasn't trying to focus it to anything. They can go and do whatever they want with whatever skills they learn. So that's pretty much the basics of it. So
We're going to be a regional certification center?
yeah, so one of the big things with the new building that we're going to be able to do myself, I'm a certified welding inspector, certified welding educator. So with the new building, we're building it in such a way that we'll be able to become an accredited testing facility with the American Welding Society. So now we'll be able to bring in people from industry, and then they can come in, I can certify them as a welder, and then send them back out as certified welders. So that's one of the big things one of the big focuses we did with that new building.
2 big brand names.
Yeah, so we're trying to brand the school either with Lincoln Electric or with Miller, depending on which one's going to work out best for us. But that way, the whole shop is going to be branded with the same type of equipment, top of the line equipment. All the welders that we have in our shop are all inverter style welders. So what you used to have is a big transformer. You adjusted the crank on the inside of the transformer, and that's how you adjusted your amperage. Now they do it all with electronics. I can run all 30 stations with our ventilation, our plasma cutters, all that stuff. I can run all of that and only be pulling about 60 amps total.
Is the air dirty in there? Does it get the
So one of the things that we have in our shop is the ventilation system that we have. The ventilation system that we have, there's a trunk that goes into each individual welding station that pulls in all the fumes that the students are welding around, pulls it in, filters it through 2 different sets of filter banks. The second filter bank is actually a HEPA 16, which is actually the minimum or the maximum that you're supposed to have in ICU units is a 15 HEPA. So we're actually a 16, a little bit denser filter. So it's actually cleaner air than what they pump into ICU units. So if you look in our shop, we have a white ceiling, and we've been in there for 5 years now, and we still have a perfectly white ceiling. So going into a welding shop, having a white ceiling and maintaining it is pretty impressive.